More than 400 wildfires are still burning across Canada tonight, half of them out of control. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Melanie Nagy on the firefight and the battle against the risks extending far beyond the flames.
Time-lapse video shows suffocating smoke from the Donnie Creek wildfire filling the skies in northeastern BC.
Just unbelievable.
Professional photographer Joe Maiko spent days filming the fire, which is now the largest recorded in provincial history. Along with its monstrous size, he was struck by the massive amount of smoke.
The smoke was so thick on our site, you couldn't see more than maybe 150 feet.
Smoke from Canada's severe wildfire season has been deemed a major concern by health officials. Just yesterday, Toronto's skyline was hazy as the city again struggled with poor air quality.
Wildfire smoke is made up of small particles and gases. It is the fine particles that carries the greatest risk.
Today at a federal wildfire briefing, Canada's health minister shared a sobering statistic saying between 2013 and 2018, 2,500 people died due to poor air quality linked to wildfires.
Because of what we're seeing this year, we expect, unfortunately, both the short-term and the longer-term consequences of bad air quality due to wildfires to be even larger.
To help hard-hit regions, Ottawa is supplying air quality monitors for places like hospitals. Dozens have already been sent to Nova Scotia and Quebec. Back in BC, there's good news for people on Vancouver Island. With the Cameron Lake fire under control, the province has confirmed a highway that's been closed for weeks is on track to open to single-lane traffic in the coming days, a relief for cut-off communities like Port Alberni.
There's less visitors, so there's less money being spent, and so everybody's feeling the pressure and the strain.
As for the Donnie Creek wildfire, with it so big and so fierce, officials say crews will likely be fighting it well into the fall. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, Vancouver.
The scorching heat this spring is only one worry, a deluge of rain and even snow another. Alberta Bureau Chief Bill Fortier on the weather whiplash.
Edson, where residents just returned days ago from a wildfire evacuation, is now facing the threat of a different disaster.
The water is now our issue over fire.
The town declaring a local state of emergency after nature dropped nearly 10 centimeters of rain, causing some localized flooding. And with more in the forecast, the embattled community is bracing.
We have every available resource in our community on the flooding situation.
The relentless assaults from nature taking an emotional toll on the town.
This has been incredibly difficult the last number of weeks for us.
Much of the province has gone from tinder-dry conditions to several days of rain. A high stream flow advisory is in effect for many areas, including Edmonton.
We don't recommend you be active in those rivers. Stay well away from them.
The region has seen more rain during the last week than it normally sees during the entire month of June.
What is a little bit unusual about this event is just how potent it is, just how much precipitation is falling.
Further west, more precipitation and lower than average temperatures have created scenes like this in the Kelowna area. Jasper National Park has also seen several centimeters of snow in campgrounds in town and more at the ski hill Marmot Basin.
I've never seen it, never in June, and I've been here in Jasper at Marmot Basin actually for the last 45 years.
Almost enough to think about skiing just days before the official start to summer.
It's tempting to reopen, but that's something we wouldn't consider.
Here in Edmonton, the river is expected to crest Wednesday. There's some potential risk to docks and boat launches, but river forecasters say the North Saskatchewan is not expected to overflow its banks. Omar.
Unbelievable images. All right, Bill, thank you. A blistering heat wave in India is believed to have claimed the lives of at least 170 people in the last few days. Temperatures have pushed past 42 degrees. Power is out and hospitals are overwhelmed. The morgue at this hospital in the most populous state is at capacity after 54 people died over the weekend. And millions in the southern U.S. are under heat warnings tonight after a deadly few days. There were at least 20 tornadoes this weekend and another 6 today. CTV's Joy Malbin on the damage and the destruction.
Multiple tornadoes ripped through Mississippi overnight, turning deadly in the small rural town of Lewin. Homes torn apart, trees snapped in half. Animals left with no shelter. Nearly 24 people were injured, and at least one woman was killed.
I mean, it was unreal, the force of the wind. It was scary.
These summer storms are terrifying. This time-lapse footage shows a funnel cloud moving through the town of Beaver, Oklahoma.
It was like rumbling. You could hear stuff cracking, breaking.
One man was killed when a tree fell on his home. Just 70 kilometers from there, Perryton, Texas, is still picking up the pieces and mourning the loss of 3 people after a tornado leveled 200 homes and businesses.
It's hard. It's really hard. All the loss, all the people that lost their lives.
In Florida, stormy weather flipped over a houseboat.
Hey, go back in!
4 people had to be rescued near Panama City.
Yeah, you see.
And a wave of twisters now hitting Florida. Forecasters say this deadly storm system is being fueled by hazardous heat. Texas is baking. Across Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi, temperatures are in the triple digits. The storms have left hundreds of thousands without power, millions now in the grip of a heat wave.
It's like 94 inside, and you couldn't open the windows because it's probably hotter out there.
Today, President Joe Biden announced millions of dollars to tackle the climate crisis, calling it an existential threat. As forecasters predict the first named hurricane of the season, Brett, is now forming in the warm Atlantic waters. Omar?
All right, Joy, thanks. Joe Biden also said today relations